you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, my name is LORENAAGUIRRE and I post here on my YouTube channel every Monday and Saturday. So please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you for the ones who are sticking with me and love to see the content. If you guys were curious about the colors, they are going to be linked down below if you guys are looking for any of these colors. But if you guys pause the video, you guys will be able to see which one each and every single one was. They are all kind of more of that neon type of color. So if you guys are kind of wanting more of that neon look, just keep in mind that these ones, they do definitely need to be mixed up. I do feel like since I don't tend to pull these ones out as much as I'd like to, I do feel like they kind of like tend to separate a little bit. And so I want to make sure that they are nice and mixed. So I got pink, blue, green, yellow, and orange. And I was inspired by a picture that I had seen on Pinterest. For whatever reason, it's not letting me input the picture in here for you guys. But definitely make sure to check out my Instagram just because it will be all on there if you guys would like to see that. But I am going to go ahead and start creating my lines and squiggles and things like that, so I could kind of have like a rough draft of where I want to put everything. So I did want to be able to kind of like make it look more of a swirl. I didn't want each of the lines that are side by side, I didn't want them to be the same thickness and things like that. I wanted to look like they were just like melting and swirling together, just because that is the look that I am trying to go for. And honestly, you guys, I struggle hard when it comes to doing that. I don't know why, but I feel like I can never really get that melted type of look. So today, that is my goal. Let me know how I do down in the comments below. Honestly, you guys, anything that you would recommend me will definitely help me, because it is such a struggle of mine, and I am just trying to get out of, I guess, being a perfectionist and trying to force the look a certain way when I know in my head I want it a different way. And a lot of times, sometimes too, I feel like when I am designing, I do tend to get scared, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that because I'm scared. What if it comes out like this? What if it comes out like that? And in all honesty, when I could just actually just take it off and redo it, it's not really as big of a deal as what I make it. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this neon yellow, and I am just going to go ahead and start painting that on. And you guys could see that the yellow and the green, they are very, very similar. So honestly, if you get super close with this one, it's not going to be as big of a deal. But if you were to get the green and the blue together, that will end up like kind of like blending like crazy. So just be aware of that. The liner brush that I am using is actually my liner brush. It is on my page, opulencenailco. So if you guys are interested in getting a nice, very detailed liner brush, definitely recommend checking it out. And I'm going to go ahead and get some black polish and dot that on my palette. And I just want to go ahead and outline this. And I know like sometimes it's like hard to see like everything that I am doing, but I am just really trying to make sure that I am pulling in different directions just so it makes my job easier instead of harder. I know sometimes you guys might be wondering like, okay, like how can I replicate this same exact set on a client, because I can't move them around like this. But I promise you guys, just start to flip them different ways, like trim their fingers to the side and stuff, if it allows you to get a cleaner and thinner lines, if that's the look you're going for. I'm going to go ahead and get some white, dot that on there. Keep in mind that some whites, are just some gel polish in general, they are very, very runny. So just keep that in mind when you are using your gels. If they are more runny, you may need to cure each coat before adding a new one. And then now I'm going to go ahead and just go up against that swirl with the light. Alright, and I do want to say sorry, you guys, if you do feel like this video is a little bit more echoey than other videos. It is just because everything is bare on my walls. I ended up taking everything down, and now the house is very echoey. So I'm so sorry. Alright, you guys, now I'm going to go ahead and just do some random line work. And I didn't want to be like too precise with this. I wanted it to look a little bit messy. And then any of those gaps, if I'm able to kind of like raise the line in certain areas, I wanted to go ahead and do so. And then now I'm going to go ahead and start inputting more lines in different areas I feel like is needed. And I don't know if I mentioned what color I do have underneath, but the color underneath, it is from Born Pretty. It is from their collection, and it is in number 2. Alright, and then now for this one, I am going to go ahead and I already went ahead and put the white on there, and I cured it because I wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and go with some drippy nail art. So I'm going to go ahead and get this kind of like violet tea fuchsia kind of color and just start painting that on. The drips, honestly, you guys, as long as I feel like you swoop in both sides, I feel like drips are actually pretty easy to make. That is just the way I like to do mine. But again, you guys, if you feel like you want to do them different, of course, art is what you want it to be. So even my version of art it could be different than yours. So just keep that in mind. Don't pressure yourself for it to be exactly like mine, because I feel like that's like the good thing about doing nails is that like you're able to kind of like play around with it, do things different and things like that. So, and you know how I said the blue and the green, that they will kind of like bleed together a little bit? I do kind of want to mention right here, this is kind of like what happened. I ended up getting way too close to the blue with that color, and it did end up actually making a little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my orange, and I will go ahead and just fill in the rest of that little corner after I'm done doing this yellow. Alright, you guys, now that I went ahead and cured that, I'm just going to go ahead and actually outline this. I feel like I just wanted it to kind of have like a raised type of look, and I do feel like adding the black kind of gave that look. It's going, even if you wanted to like kind of just outline it in certain areas and make it look almost like 3D, like as if it was raised up off of this, I feel like you could totally do that, and I feel like it would look really cool too. And so I was definitely undecided of what the heck I wanted to do with this nail, but I went ahead and opted to doing little dots kind of just sporadically through the green area, just because I wanted to deepen it up and kind of bring some contrast to that area, because I did feel like it was getting a little bit light. And I outlined some of it in white just to kind of make the colors feel like they were each their own. And I'm going to go in with that pink, and I am not doing this in any perfect way. I am just kind of doing it just to get that hint of pink in there, but I am definitely not going in and touching any lines. So I feel like for this look, it was cool just to be able to go in and have the gaps still of the nude color peeking out, just because I didn't want them to be all solid like this trippy art. So I am cleaning up some areas that I do feel like I ended up getting too close to the black. And something that I do want to mention, you guys, is if you guys are having trouble making content for your Instagram, I definitely recommend using this method, just because sometimes I know it is hard to get your clients to pick out some of the nail art things that you are wanting to try and show other people that you are able and capable of doing. So this method that I'm doing is I do get these tips off of Amazon. I'll go ahead and link them down below, but basically I just like to create my art on here, put some rings on, take some pictures, and post them on my Instagram, just because not all the time I'm able to sit down and do a full set of nails and file everything off and so on. So with doing this method, it allows me actually to be able to create more content and show people all the different things that I'm capable of doing, especially because I do want to utilize my skill and be able to do more hand painted things. So I do love, even one of my clients today, she had came in and she got some art like this as well. So honestly, I'm glad that I did this set right before she had came in, because it kind of gave me different ideas that I would like to, or that I had wanted to try on her set. So I love these ideas. So if you guys do end up recreating this, please be sure to tag me. I love to see it. And if you guys want to be featured on my Instagram page, please be sure to tag me. And yeah, so now I'm just going to go ahead and kind of, this nail I am going to kind of try to create the same type of art that I had did on the other one, but this one is going to be a little bit different. And in all honesty, this one was definitely my favorite nail, just in case you guys were wondering. So stay tuned for how this one turns out, because I love it. I love this nail. The colors and everything, honestly, I feel like even if I were to stop right here, I would have been so happy with it. Something that I do find when I am doing these swirls is, even if you're on the inside, I do kind of like the way it looks if you end up making the inside line thicker instead of thin. Because if you guys could tell, the pink and purpley color, they're very thin, and going right here with the green and yellow, I'm thickening it up a little bit more, and I do find that it kind of gives more of that twisted kind of look that I'm going for. And I didn't like the way that one it came out. I felt like it looked too thick, so I went ahead and cleaned it up just to kind of still have that like more movement to it in that bend. So you guys, this is how far we are making it so far. I do feel like, honestly, I was just looking at it and it just needed more added to it. So right here I decided I'm going to do that same rainbow type of effect. And I did like how there was some thicker parts on the pink, so I'm going to kind of stagger those, like the thicker parts here and there. And then I'm going to make kind of like different areas of it on the thinner side. So I like doing this just because I feel like it allowed me to kind of give a different, more organic type of look to it. And I don't know, I feel like it just looks super cute. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with that pink. I wanted to start off with the pink and finish off with the pink too. And I was still kind of deciding what I wanted to do with this one. So I did end up opting for some stars and the little twinkle stars, or like the little dots and twinkle stars. I've been loving those. So I am going to be actually adding some of those all over. But before then, I wanted to actually go back and outline this. So I didn't cure before I did this, but I am going to go ahead and paint on the white. And once I paint on the white, I'm going to throw it into the lamp for 60 seconds, just so it'll be dry once I put the black checkers on that one. But you guys could see, I definitely have ADHD with these nails. I am going back and forth quite a bit, so I'm so sorry if that is like throwing you guys off, but I just really wanted to kind of show you guys how the way I work, because Honestly, sometimes things I feel like they don't work out to how you picture them, and they're not as easy as some people think. So, I mean, to some people, I feel like it could have been easy, like, oh, I'm just going to do this and that. But I don't know, my mind works all over the place, and it makes it a little bit more tedious for me to decide, like, kind of different things that I want. So, next thing that I went ahead and did is I flipped my brush around, and I ended up going in with the shorter length, and I wanted to do this checkerboard. The reason why I switched to this brush on the other end of the brush, or the other end of my nail art brush, was because I feel like this one is very, very thin, so any detailed work I definitely love this side for. And of course, I feel like doing checkered nails, for me, I feel like it is something that is super, super detailed and very, very tedious. And sometimes if you use too much of a thicker brush, I do find that the checkers doesn't end up looking as nice. So just keep that in mind if you guys decide to do checkerboards. Try to find as thin of a brush as you can, and it will make the checkers look even cooler. So I like to also have my cleanup brush on the other side and just kind of touch up the ends. And then some of the white pieces needed to be touched up too, so I went ahead and did that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get my dotting tool and create my little twinkle stars. And I kind of wanted to put this sporadic all over the nails. So let me know what you guys think about this, because I did end up adding that last minute. But I did want to tie in some more dots. I even thought about putting some dots on the white part of the spin wheel that I have at the top. But I did end up changing my mind on that, and I just decided to go with at the bottom, just because I felt like it added some, but not too much. So now I'm going to go ahead and add some more dots and darken up some other ones that if they need it. And I'll go ahead and put these into the light. And while I'm going to go ahead and start working on this one while those other ones are in the light. And I'm just going to put twinkle stars and just the corner of these nails. I don't want to do the whole entire part of this, just because I do feel like I like to have a little bit more of that nude kind of color. And I'll put those ones into the light for 30 seconds, and then I'm going to go ahead and start adding more of the twinkle stars on other parts of the nails where I feel like it needs it. Alright, now that these are out of the light for those 30 seconds, I'm taking a look at them in that middle finger. Honestly, you guys, I did not like the way it was looking. I feel like it needed more. I was thinking about doing smiley faces, but then I came across this nail art that it had the eyeball, and I was like, you know what, that would actually be so cool to put the eye on here, especially all the way at the top, because it would look like it's almost crying like a rainbow river. So I decided to do that. I'm going to put that into the light for another 30 seconds. After it's out of the light, I'm going to go in with my neon colors. I did kind of want it to look like the eyelid had some eyeshadow on it. So that's basically the look that I am going for right here. And I'm getting that deeper kind of violet color. And I am just going in and painting it all along the side. Honestly, if these colors blend, it's not a big deal to me, because I feel like since it's kind of more of that eyeshadowed look, it wouldn't bother me, because I feel like a lot of times eyeshadow is blended anyways. I'm going to get my liner brush, and I'm just going to go in and outline the eyeball a little bit. And while the polish is wet, I am actually going to start creating the lashes. But every time you create a lash, you're going to want to kind of clean off your brush inside the black gel polish, because if you don't, any of that wet paint that you have on your brush, it will end up kind of messing up your design, so you don't want that. Make sure to dip it into the black every time. Now I'm going to go ahead and start outlining a little bit more where the eyeball would go. And once I am done with that, I am actually going to fill it in with a light this one is blue, sorry you guys. The one that I did on my client today was purple on the inside of the eye. So this one I did want to do blue and green. And I just decided to do this and see how it turned out. And I am actually just going to keep on bringing my brush towards the center, but I am not going to be cleaning it off. I am going to go ahead and clean up the sides a little bit to thin out the side, the black part of the eyeball area. I'm going to thin it out right there, and I'm going to pop that into the light for 60 seconds, just because how thick the polish was in this area. Now I'm going to go ahead and get black, and I am just going to circle that in the center of this eye, and get my dotting tool ready for once it comes out of the light. I do want to do like little twinkle, or like kind of little dots to highlight the shine inside of the eye to make it kind of give that more realistic glow to it. A little fun fact of how I ended up learning to draw an eye was actually in elementary school. We used to have like these things where they had art classes and stuff like that, and that's kind of like where I ended up learning how to do this, and palm trees and stuff like that. And that's kind of where my artwork had begun, like in my career, when I was in middle school or elementary school. I would take little art classes and stuff that they offered at the school. Alright, you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and add little teardrops, and you guys, this is the final look. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys think of this look. Thank you. Bye.